What's up, Juventini? Alberto here. I got all your Juventus news, all right? A double sale potentially in January, including Iling and Soule. Huijsen, what's his future entail? A move? Is he en route outside of Juve? Giuntoli. Is the pressure on Giuntoli this winter mercado? And another Amici di Nessuno moment. We have a ton to talk about, all right, everybody? Like the video, subscribe to the channel. This is the AJC. Let's rock. Now, Jadon Sancho, he continues to linger. He hasn't completely left the rumor mill around Juventus, all right, as Juve and German clubs apparently all keeping tabs on what Manchester United wants to do as far as the structure of the deal in regards to Jadon Sancho's massive salary, all right? And this comes to us from Fabrizio Romano saying that yes, there's still several clubs interested in the player, but everybody's waiting to see how Manchester United wants to treat the move. So those of you that want to see Jadon Sancho at Juventus, it's hanging on, albeit by a thread, but it's hanging on, all right? Now, today we got the rumors of a double sale for Juventus in January involving Iling Jr. and Soule. Okay, listen, as far as this goes, okay, and the rumor continued on saying Dean Huijsen would also be compensated to Frosinone because of the Soule sale. Frosinone is in complete control. Earlier on in the season, when Soule really started to pick up and started doing well and his numbers started skyrocketing, everybody was saying, oh, Juve is going to pull him back in January. We learned at that moment, Frosinone is in complete control. There's no recall option in January available to Juventus. Frosinone would have to release the player. So that doesn't rule out that Juve can't make a sale. We could make a sale. It wouldn't go down in January. That deal would then take place in the summer after he returns to Juventus and becomes our property again. However, I still highly doubt that this is going to happen. Iling Jr., a sale, potentially. Soule, I'm not so sure Juve is ready, but there are rumors today saying Southampton is coming in for Soule at 30 million euros. Well, they're in the second tier in England, all right? And I know that they're battling for promotion. They're close to it right now, and they could definitely get promoted. But I don't see him accepting that move. So even if Juve were to take that deal, let's say it was realistic, I don't see Soule accepting that deal. So again, right now, I'm not buying it for Soule. As far as Huijsen goes, though, there are concrete discussions between Juventus and Frosinone for the player to go out on a loan for the second half of the season. And I actually do expect that to be finalized and going down. And that comes to us from Mirko and Romeo Agresti. Okay, so 2 out of the 3 big dogs. I expect Huijsen to go out on loan. Now, we're talking about more young players. Colpani, Juve still monitoring him. 20 million euro valuation. But there are rumors surfacing that Juve has offered Miretti and Caviglia in exchange to try and bring the player. Look, we're thin as it is. Do you believe Juventus would offer 2 midfielders with how thin we are right now in order to bring 1 advanced midfielder in? Colpani has some of the abilities and traits we could definitely use right now. But to give up 2 to get 1 doesn't make sense. But maybe 1 and some money, that makes sense. So Colpani very much still in the mix, everybody. But will Monza be willing to give up Colpani for one of those youngsters that we have in exchange plus cash? That's going to be what it comes down to, all right? Now, one thing with the youngsters I just want to quickly get to as these rumors start to come out and everybody gets really fired up around Juventus. Everybody wants to see these young guys succeed. There's a lot of lobbying for youngsters to get more minutes, which I can agree with. However, I think this season there's been something very misleading put forward. And I know that there's a ton integrated here. We had a Mercado where all we purchased was Timothy Weah. This is all by design from Juventus, everybody. You have to believe it's all by design to write the books, bite the bullet, and get the finances in order where we finally needed them to be. This is not going to be the way moving forward for Juventus. We will see more integration than we ever have previously, but not to the levels and degree that I think everybody's expecting from what we're seeing this season, and that's why I think it's misleading. For me, Juve still has to bring in ready now top quality players. Okay, we still have to work with next gen and what we're doing and integrating those, but I believe those that truly need to be in and around the top team, the first team at Juventus will be. But to expect such a high number year in, year out coming in is not going to be what we need at Juventus, in my personal opinion. We need top quality, ready now players. It's all about balance. So we all want to see these young guys succeed and everything like that, but don't get too fired up, because for me, it's going to come down to getting the finances right and then approaching ready now quality guys while still integrating those at the highest level out of the youngsters. But you got to believe there is definitely going to be those that are used as bargaining chips. A great way for Juventus to keep the cash flow going and keep those books where they need to be. But that's how I feel. You guys know the drill. Let me know in the comment section. All right. Now, Rabiot remains in doubt for the match against Frosinone, but he did take part in partial training today. Fagioli actually had to leave training with an ankle problem. But as far as Rabiot goes, this doubt there, it shows us how thin we are in the midfield right now, okay? And we definitely need help. I think we can all agree we need help in the winter mercado. So is the pressure ramping up on Giuntoli to get something done? The media sources are saying yes, he is definitely under pressure to make things a little bit better and more manageable in the middle of the park. And that's factoring in Miretti's performances, Rabiot when he gets hurt, and Caviglia filling in and doing well can help out, but it's very, very skinny. It's very, very skinny, losing out on Pogba and Fagioli. I think he absolutely has to bring somebody in this winter mercado, all right? We are still tight with Inter. We could still make something out of the Scudetto race, but it's going to be hard with how they're getting the job done against sides that are supposed to be trickier. They're starting to roll now, and it is what it is. It's going to be very, very difficult for us to keep that pace, I think, unless we start looking for the answers that we need to the solutions we're looking for in the middle of the park. So let's see what happens. But the pressure, hey, it's ramping up on Giuntoli. I think it is. I think we need some help. You guys let me know if you agree or disagree. Now, we get to the last topic, and that is Amici di Nessuno moment, okay? Obviously, the potential handball in the Genoa match, and then you have the non-red card to Malinowski. Rocky, head of officiating, spoke to it, and he said, and as far as those incidents go, the handball, not a clear and obvious error, so he can understand that, but he does agree it could be handled differently. Red card, says completely botched. This absolutely has to be a red card, and we have to clamp down on anyone throwing dangerous tackles like that out there. Look, I'm just going to put this out there. The rivals might not like this, okay, but I really don't care. I've always said the officiating in Serie A is brutal, okay? And all the teams have to deal with it and whatnot. But I believe, and this is something ongoing for a long period of time, okay? Stemming back from 2006 and all the way through, it has just been easier and more acceptable due to this cool to hate Juventus trend and everything, and Serie A, in my mind, FIGC, and even the way they deal with circumstances around Juventus, and we saw it clear as day last season, how they treat incidents and situations involving Juventus. They don't protect Juventus whatsoever, all right? And they don't do it probably out of the fear, out of this stigma that Juve is favorited and all this nonsense. And if you're asking me, in push-to-shove moments like this, it's far too easy for referees and officials to kind of play into that perception by just making an error and then it easily being backed up by saying could have been handled differently, but not a clear error. It's too easy for them to get off with that. It's far too easy. And if you're asking me, yeah, is there some outside pressure? I think so. Because that ref is probably thinking, man, could you imagine the explosion if Juve got 2 PKs and a red card in one match? That's what I think. I think it's far too easy for these guys. The officiating sucks, okay? And all these teams are dealing with it, but I think it's far too easy from outside circumstances for these guys to just go that route. Hey, you can agree, disagree. I love to hear from you either way in the comment section, all right? Can't wait to mix it up with all of you. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share with everybody you know, all right? Let's get the AJC army rocking, all right? Until tomorrow, as always, fino alla fine, forza Juve, ciao tutti.